Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Euroformula Open Championship of 2024. We are now into the second half of the season campaign. 15 laps, 30 minutes max, and it's going to be one ferocious fight. 5.822 kilometers in length will take us around this Le Castellet track. And on pole position at this stage is our championship leader, Brad Benavides. But he's also got Jakob Bergmeister, the ever-improving Jakob Bergmeister, alongside him with fellow championship contender Francesco Simonazzi lined up in third. Now, one of the big talking points, we alluded to it this morning in qualifying, is the news of the new chassis. But first and foremost, highlights. Right, highlights from our last trip at Hungaroring, and it was on the front row, Brad Benavides. He was closely met as well by several cars lining up in behind. Michael Shin, of course, making his appearance last time out as well. Not, unfortunately, here at Paul Ricard, but Brad Benavides did a great job of holding the inside line. Fernando Barrichello was also looking very prominent right at the start. Levente Ravesh, though, making short work of him through the course of the race. Brad Benavides would go on, however, to take victory in the first race at Hungaroring. Second race would follow, and Jakob Bergmeister would meet Simonazzi toe for toe through turn one. Fernando Barrichello also joining them, looking for a way through, and unfortunately locked up his tyres coming through turn three and would scatter off into the off-track space. Francesco Simonazzi forever enjoying that mid-chicane through the course of the circuit, but would go on to take a sensational victory in race two. Race three would kick off, and once again, Jakob Bergmeister towards the front would challenge Levente Ravesh coming out of turn one. Simonazzi would take full advantage and take the lead as a consequence. A few lockups heading through turn one, but unfortunately see Bergmeister go off the track. Fernando Barrichello was back at it as well, trying to regain every little bit of track space he could in his fight for better points. But Francesco Simonazzi would do a double in a three-race weekend and would further on his championship charge against Brad Benavides. And this is how it looks in terms of the Drivers' Championship. Brad Benavides on 257 points, 64 points separating the Italian Stallion and the Floridian, who sits at the top of the table. Jakob Bergmeister on 99 points back from Brad Benavides, sitting in third place with every chance. So now the cars are out, ready on the formation lap, folks. Let's talk you through the starting grid. Brad Benavides starts on pole with Jakob Bergmeister in second. Francesco Simonazzi in third for BVM. Levente Ravesh fourth for Team Motorpark. Fifth place, we go to Fernando Barrichello with Enzo Richer in his first appearance in a Euroformula Open race. Paolo Brajnik starts in seventh place. And alluding back to what I was saying about the new chassis, the Toyota engine as well become a factor in the Euroformula Open Championship for next season. George Morgan here, Chris Stevens alongside me. Chris, huge news for the Euroformula Open.
It certainly is, and wonderful news for the championship. 22 cars in prospect for next year. 10 new of the 324, and then 12 of the 320s with the upgraded bodywork. So it'll be a very different look for the Euroformula Open Championship next year. But right now, we've got a race on our hands. Jakob Bergmeister was very quick in qualifying. Maybe didn't quite get the best out of his session. So there's every chance he'll challenge the birthday boy, Brad Benavides, turning 23 today. But also Francesco Simonazzi. He didn't take part in practice yesterday because he was sitting in his exam. His first laps were in qualifying this morning. So he's getting quicker with every single lap he picks up. So watch out for the BVM Racing driver, but he is, I think, the only one who doesn't have an all-new set of tyres for all three races. So at some point that's going to come into play. And of course, watch out for the rookie, Enzo Richer, joining us from the Ultimate Cup Championship. He lines up in sixth, and we'll have reverse grid pole for tomorrow's race three.
Yeah, there's Rubens Barrichello watching on behind the scenes back in the Motorpark garage, waiting obviously for his son Fernando to go out there and potentially do a masterful job. Here come the lights now, folks. 3 lights, 4 lights, and the 5th light, and it's pedal to the... Oh, goodness me, Brad Benavides! As they went to hit go! Go! Brad Benavides did not! And it's allowed at this stage Jakob Bergmeister to take the lead, but look at the start here from Francesco Simonazzi. Outside line coming through turn one, still Bergmeister leads. Great start from Simonazzi from third now up to second, and laying a challenge down to the German shifter kart champion as they now come through it towards turn 3 and 4. Can Simonazzi try him? Coming into the chicane, coming through Hotel. Bergmeister holds onto the lead. What happened to Benavides, Chris?
Hugely dramatic stuff. He has got going. He's at the back of the field, so down in 7th place. And there is a bit of a gap back to Paolo Brajnik as well. But Bergmeister hits the front. Simonazzi is going to have a wonderful tow down the Mistral for the first time. Here we're going to see it again. And it gets going, and it just stalls right there and then. He is able to get it going once again eventually, but not before everybody has cleared him. And luckily, Simonazzi was able to dive round on the inside. But side by side for the lead of the race now. Bergmeister with the inside line, but gets in very, very deep. Simonazzi should have a wonderful run in the slightly uphill rise towards Scene Corner for the first time of asking the Italian in the wheel tracks of the young Jakob Bergmeister, just 18 years of age in his 2nd season of Euroformula racing. Side by side towards Scene Corner. We go flat out here as Simonazzi's on the outside. Great racing once again between these two cars, and Bergmeister eventually is able to just consolidate the lead going into Le Bousset for the first time.
Fantastic defence there from Jakob Bergmeister. He had to do it in the first sector, moving into the second. He's now under attack again here from Francesco Simonazzi, the Italian stallion, giving and leaving nothing to chance. He has got Laventia Ravesh still chasing after him as well, waiting to hoover up on any possibility that could occur, given those two are fighting so aggressively. Fernando Barrichello also very much in tow and in touch with the top 3 alike. Brad Benavides has managed to move his way through. He's got past Brajnik. He's now past Enzo Richer.
Yeah, he's up into 5th position already, so Benavides is making short work of this. And to be honest, he's not far off the lead at all. He's only 2.5 seconds away from race leader Jakob Bergmeister, who was able to pull a nice gap in that 3rd sector to Simonazzi. 0.8 of a second was the young German's advantage when he went over the timing line. And if anything, Simonazzi looks more preoccupied with Laventia Ravesh behind him as the Hungarian looks down the inside into the Hotel chicane and forces Simonazzi to run a little bit wide. Nearly contact between the two of them as they headed through the left-hander and lined themselves up for what is turn number 5. And this time, it's Simonazzi who's going to be on the defensive going down the Mistral for the 2nd time. Fernando Barrichello there in the blue and yellow car. That is waiting in the wheel tracks, but Ravesh pulls out to the inside and could well take 2nd position as they break for the Mistral chicane. No, Simonazzi's got this one covered. He runs out deep this time. He had to leave a space, Ravesh-sized space down there. But again, towards Scene Corner, this could be side by side again, but this time with Ravesh and a late jink there as Ravesh looked like he was going to go to the inside. Now, can he do what Simonazzi couldn't? A lap ago as we go side by side again into Scene Corner. And Ravesh still holding this one out on the outside into Le Bousset. What a move from the Hungarian. That is stunning stuff from Laventia Ravesh to take 2nd position. If you want to buy a 324 for next year, highly recommend it, because look at what we're able to achieve here.
Fantastic work there from Laventia Ravesh. Finally got the move done. Francesco Simonazzi was trying him, testing him through every corner, defending at every turn, but wasn't able to stop him. And I must say, Fernando Barrichello looks like a more, shall I say, prosperous prospect for that 3rd place as well. He's hunting down after Simonazzi, but all this allowing Jakob Bergmeister to career away up at the front. He's 1.4 clear of Laventia Ravesh, and still proceeding to kick on is the former German shifter car champion. Ravesh, though, it's not over yet. Simonazzi is still hunting him down, the Italian who was looking for that race win, yet another race win to add to his locker this season in order to bring the fight to Brad Benavides. You have to ask yourself, is that an opportunity that's gone begging for Francesco Simonazzi as we hear a tyre squeal coming through the Hotel section? Brakes applied, obviously one of the heaviest braking zones on the circuit as they now fly through the next right, double right-handers, and then they'll send it down the Mistral straight. Still at this stage, Bergmeister leading the charge. Let's take a look at this moment again. Swooping manoeuvre there from Laventia Ravesh around the outside. It was almost like it was ballerina-esque coming through the Bousset.
That was awesome. And yeah, the reaction from the Motor Park garage. And I mean, that might challenge Bergmeister's move of the season, the triple overtake into Les Combes from a couple of months ago. We'll let you decide at home which one you enjoyed more. But for me, that was incredible stuff from Laventia Ravesh. And yeah, Brad Benavides right on the back of Fernando Barrichello now for 4th position. And he looks to go around the outside, has to tuck back in behind the Brazilian. Joining us from the F4 Brazil series. But not too many overtaking opportunities in this third sector, as they have to be a little bit follow the leader until they start the fourth lap. The Floridian very much on the back foot after that stall on the grid, fighting his way back through the pack, and he may well be able to get himself up on the podium because it's right there in front of him, just 2 cars away. And I'm sure Jakob Bergmeister is trying to make hay while the sun is shining. 2.1 seconds was his advantage halfway round the lap. He's now pulled an extra 10th into his pocket as well, with the fastest middle sector on that lap as well. But Revesh is starting to find his form. He's just done a personal best. So let's see if the Hungarian can do anything about that gap.
Yeah, well, you soon find out. At the moment, it's 2.2 as it stands. Francesco Simonazzi is second back from Revesh, which only really firmly places Simonazzi at risk against Fernando Barrichello, but in turn he's at risk from Brad Benavides down in 5th place. So it's a concertina domino effect at this stage. The only driver that is unperturbed at the front is Jakob Bergmeister, who surely can smell a possibility of a first race win of the season, which would be huge, and it'd be his first ever Euroformula Open race win as well alike. But further back, Revesh consolidating that second place, 1.1 to the good, ahead of Fernando Barrichello, who is still certainly being looked at by Brad Benavides still. Enzo Richer around 2.4 seconds off those further back. You can see him in the distance alike as they now proceed to round scene corner. Of course, Laventia Revesh very well prudent where it comes to single-seater racing. He has been a single-seater racing driver since 2022, or should I say since 2021, where he was competing in German F4 as well as the FIA Central European Zone F4 Championship, as well as the Italian F4, as Barrichello runs off very wide, coming in towards the very technical latter sector, and that could yet again show a little frailty, providing Brad Benavides with a beam pole of hope to potentially land a blow against the Brazilian here late into this lap.
Yeah, he's been hounding the back of Barrichello for a few laps. Now, and a dive down the inside into Virage Dupont, and that is 4th position now for Brad Benavides. He's getting his elbows out. He needs to be on that podium. Yeah,
very physical moves here from Benavides. You get the feeling he had to do it because, of course, he had that stall after achieving pole. He was hoping for more. Barrichello hunting down after Benavides. Looked like he might have actually plumbed for the move coming in towards turn 1, but thought better of it. Instead, coming out of turn 2 and very shortly in towards turn 3. But great to see Barrichello there in the midst and fighting, but Benavides just a little too strong coming through Pont Corner. Of course, that is why he's our current championship leader, looking to join the realms of the likes of Nolion. This is the moment of where Barrichello ran off wide, just skipped over the curbs and was forced out, and obviously teeing up that later move there for Benavides, who managed to get in nice and close. This is the replay from that final corner move at Pont Corner. Textbook, really, down the inside, locking up the right-hand side of the car ever so slightly, but still Benavides getting the move done smartly and in good fashion.
I'm sure Barrichello had a bit of dirt on his tyres from that little off-track excursion. It was a minor one, but maybe enough just to give Benavides a sniff of an opportunity there at Virage Dupont, which has been a popular overtaking opportunity in the past. You catch them unawares a little bit. Of course, you've got to make sure there's enough space on the exit because it tightens up ever so quickly. Jakob Bergmeister leading. 2.1 seconds is still his advantage, despite Levente Revesh doing the fastest lap of the race last time around, but only by a 10th of a second or so. He's slightly quicker on this lap as well, is Revesh. Obviously confirmation at the bottom of the screen, so he's starting to eke into Bergmeister's advantage, who is not just going after his first Euroformula Open win, George, as you mentioned, but his first ever single-seater victory. The young German started his single-seater career in F4 UAE at the start of last year, and then came straight into the Euroformula Open Championship and has been with us since then. And so it has been a very, very steep learning curve for the 18-year-old from Solingen. The 4th generation racer, of course. You might remember the Bergmeister name if you've been watching GT racing. His uncle Jorg was a Porsche Works driver, but also his father was a GT Masters champion. Tim Bergmeister, of course, his grandfather Willie, a touring car racer. His great-grandfather raced motorcycles as well. So racing is in the Bergmeister blood. But right now, it is the Hungarian Levente Reves who's reducing that deficit now to 1.8 seconds. Bergmeister is going to start feeling the pressure shortly, as is Francesco Simonetti, who's got the championship leader, his nearest title rival, on the back of him going down the Mistral now.
Yeah, and what I will say is this. I mean, it's not out of the question. If Reves was to close up to the back of Bergmeister and a fight ensued, then if Brad Benavides gets ahead of Simonetti, there is still a huge chance of a crescendo later on when we get down into the final few laps of the race, because we still have 10 laps to go here at Paul Ricard. So do not write off what could yet be one of Brad Benavides' probably one of his more incredible performances in the Euroformula Open Championship, as he now has a look around the outside of the Busset section, now once again testing the Italian stallion as the two championship contenders come together. Simonetti holding on to third. Benavides looking every which way. Is he going to try the same thing that he attempted and managed to successfully do on Fernando Barrichello this time? Because Pont Corner is coming up very shortly. Will he look for that dive? Will Simonetti match him at every turn? Will he block it off? Let's wait and see as they now round the penultimate corner. No, he thought about it. He thought about it. Not this time, Brad. Not this time.
I'm sure Simonetti will have known that Brad pulled that move off a few corners ago, so he would have expected to see it coming. We've got yellow flags out at turn number 9, which is the middle of the Mistral chicane. Meanwhile, Brad Benavides looking to the inside. Simonetti has to leave him some space. That's going to compromise his run on the run towards the hotel chicane. Benavides smells blood here, heading towards turns 3 and 4. Once again, to the outside he goes. You can't nail Simonetti around the outside like that, so he's going to have to wait a couple more corners. You see Benavides taking that wider approach into the tight right-hander at turn 5 and trying to maximize his run down the Mistral. And we do have a car stopped. I think it's Enzo Richer that has stopped just outside of the Mistral chicane, so we might see it in a few seconds time when they eventually made their way down there. But the battle for third place continues as Simonetti has to defend to the inside. It's a left-hander coming up and he runs out wide there. That's the widest he's run yet, and once again, but this is the yellow flag zone, so Benavides probably can't make the move through here now. Well, he's certainly trying to. There's Enzo Richer there on the left-hand side. Yellow flags are waving, so Benavides, he can't make the move, and you see he's tucked in behind once again, but he's still made sure that Simonetti knows he's there. And he's got the inside for Scene Corner. Heading into the Busset, he will now consolidate that position, and that is Benavides up into third. Barrichello trying to find his way through as well, and he does so too. So Simonetti down 2 places and a couple of corners there, tries to take it back at the next opportunity, but that was smart driving there from Barrichello.
The ultimate opportunist, it has to be said. Fernando Barrichello saw his chance, he took it, and now moves up into 4th place. Fantastic effort from the Brazilian, who is now looking to give chase after Brad Benavides. What a moment that was. And just looking at this right at the top, Bergmeister and Reves, the gap coming down to 1.5 now. Again, it's starting to leak. The delta now started to be drawn a little bit here. Levente Reves doing his utmost to try and bring Bergmeister a little closer to him as they now come through turn 1 yet again. But Simonetti, no doubt on those tyres. Let's watch this again. Benavides managing to get up the inside. Obviously, after the yellow flags were deployed due to Richer, Barrichello taking full advantage, moves through up the inside as well. So that's 2 Motorpark cars brushing past the BVM.
Yeah, and another good response from the garage there. We've still got those yellow flags out. So, yeah, something wrong with Enzo Richer's car, though. So his Euroformula debut comes to a premature end for the young Frenchman. And now we got yellow flags waving before the Mistral as well, actually. Didn't see that last time around. So, and that is, yeah, I'm sure that Brad would have timed the move right so that he wasn't overtaking in a yellow flag zone. It's always awkward when you get into a yellow flag zone and you're side by side. It's double waved yellows now there on driver's right as the marshals are there to recover Richer's stricken car.
Brad Benavides has just put a purple second sector in place, so now he's started to kick on. Obviously very thoughtful of what could be a race win should Bergmeister and Revesh start battling. Though I will say this, Bergmeister's done very well to actually expand the gap just slightly. It's gone back out to 1.8, so it's not over yet. As far as Bergmeister's concerned, he can still maintain this gap. The question is, I suppose, how long can Revesh push, given the way the tyres are degrading around this very hot Paul Ricard circuit, Chris?
He'll be feeling the heat, that's for sure, and I'm sure engineers on both Jakob's side of the garage and Levente's side of the garage are coaching them through these last 7 laps, so just over half race distance now. As you see, Benavides continuing to close the gap just on the fastest lap of the race. That's the championship leader, a 57.7. And in pursuit now, he's 3.2 behind Revesh. And actually, as you said, Bergmeister actually extended the lead last time around, 1.9 seconds. And obviously, Benavides is going to hope that Revesh keeps closing in on Bergmeister and they start squabbling in order to make his life a little bit easier. But at the moment, Bergmeister is not only responding, but being able to pull back away again from Levente Revesh. So this is going to be real tight towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I think so. But still at this stage, Bergmeister doing a great job, as I said, expanding the gap. And obviously off the back of losing so much time to Revesh, it seems to be going the other way. So whether Bergmeister was a little bit more thoughtful of his rubber earlier on, maybe now's the time, as far as he's concerned, to start kicking onwards. And this could be such an important victory for Bergmeister, because it could change the entire perception of one single season where he has achieved a 3rd place, he has achieved a 2nd, multiple times he has been on the podium, in fact 5 times when we look at it. So this could be a huge chance for him to underline himself as a race winner this season. If he does it now, lays claim to his first single-seater race win of his career. More could potentially follow, especially through this very feisty Paul Ricard weekend. As I said, we're into the second half of the campaign. Plenty more rounds to come as well. We've got Red Bull Ring coming up after that, and then a trip to Barcelona, and then we've got the grand finale at the Temple of Speed that is Monza, as they now look to bring an end to another lap and begin yet another. Bergmeister still in control.
Yeah, of course, we had the announcement for the 2025 calendar as well, which is again filled with some of the top circuits in the world. We go back to Portimao, we go back to Hockenheim, Spa, Hungaroring will be coming back here as well. Red Bull Ring, Barcelona and Monza as well for next year, with the Dallara 324 that you were talking about at the top of the show, George, which is very exciting.
And the Toyota
future
engine as well.
Yeah, Toyota engine, a 1.6 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder engine,
275 horsepower.
Yeah, which is still somehow 35 more than the current 4-cylinder engine. I don't know how they do it. It's absolutely astonishing, and prepared by Toms as well, which is, dare to find a more qualified engine preparer for a Toyota engine than Toms, really. And still sticking with Pirelli tyres for next year as well. They've served us well, having stood in partway through last year's campaign after the Hankook factory fire, which meant they were unable to provide last year's tyres, and started what is set to be a very long-term partnership between Euroformula Open Championship and Pirelli.
Yeah, fantastic as well to have them with us, and we'll look forward to next year with great angst, because obviously we've got lots to look at. Obviously, with changes to the car, the airbox now going is going to become a relic of the past. As now we,
such a shame. It's such an iconic look, isn't it? But
well, these 320s are going to be converted anyway. They've got the conversion kits being prepared by Dallara themselves, so that they can now obviously utilise the former the Dallara 320 and upgrade it to a Dallara 324.
Yes, exactly. It'll be 12 of those available for next year. Although I hear there is a financing scheme in place if you require one of the new 324s. So, yeah, hopefully we will see an expanded grid for next year, because this kind of car, it just prepares drivers so well for the next step on the ladder for Formula 3 machinery. We saw so many drivers in the last couple of years coming into the championship to prepare themselves for the jump up to Formula 3, getting familiar with Dallara machinery, but also driving a car that is so light and has so much grip. These are some of the fastest sub F3 cars in the world, and somehow the 324 is going to go 2 seconds a lap faster, astonishingly. But it's just such a great way to prep drivers for a place on the Formula One support bill.
And on that point, Chris, I mean, we can only look at some of the names that we're witnessing now. Oli Goethe, of course, taking a victory in Formula 3 last season at Silverstone. Also Noel Leon at Imola, who was mightily successful as well. And also Christian Mansell in recent times, who actually took a pole position not too long ago. And on top of that, actually qualified in the top 10 again, only last weekend as such. But yeah, phenomenal for Christian, who is also really adapting to the Formula One tier system very well. But all of those drivers coming through the Euroformula Open ladder, and I must say, you look at the likes of Oliver Goethe, you look at some of the names that go further back, the likes of Felipe Drugovich, of course Yuki Tsunoda raced in this championship as well, and is currently racing with the Faenza team RB, and very much in contention for a potential Red Bull seat if the rumours in the media so rightly I'll so rightly say.
So 4 laps remain, and Brad Benavides is closing down that gap. He did the fastest lap last time around. It was a little bit slower on that previous lap, but he's now 2.7 behind Levente Ravesh, and Ravesh has brought down the lead gap a couple of tenths. He's closing away at it, but I think if Bergmeister keeps it squeaky clean for the remainder of this race, then he should be in a very good position in 3 and a bit laps time, on course for his first single-seater race win.
Yeah, within the final 4 laps now, and Jakob Bergmeister in control. The gap remaining around 1.7. The advantages that Levente Ravesh was finding earlier on seemingly slipping away slightly, though he has closed into 1.6 this time, so you never know, there might be an opportunity. Bergmeister still looking for that first win. It could be a huge one, this one, and I'm sure the celebrations are going to be wild come the end of this, should he crossed the line in front of everybody else. Brad Benavides also trying to close up there. You can see the familiar AIX livery, of course, in bronze and green as it always is, starting to power its way in towards Scene Corner. And then a trip through the Bousset once more as now Bergmeister lights up the final sector once again. Never know, could be the tipping point as far as this championship's concerned. Let's take a look at a little slow motion replay.
Well, it was kind of a breakthrough race for him last year, wasn't it, when he scored his first podium as well. And that really set him up on a bit of a rise. He became a regular podium contender in the second half of last season. And it could well be the breakthrough win for him on this occasion. He's got 3 laps to go when he comes across the line here. And I will say, Ravesh is looking a little bit closer than he was a lap ago. Let's see what the gap is when they get across the timing line. It's still 1.6. Okay, just the depth of field playing tricks with the eyes there, perhaps, because
it is very warm out
there. Yeah. 1.6 seconds remains the gap. They matched each other to 0.5 of a second last time around in Bergmeister and Ravesh. Driving beautifully is young Bergmeister at the moment.
Well, I mean, looking at the track temperature right now, it's an incredible 52.8 degrees at this stage, which is mightily hot. It's gone up in the last 3 hours from the realms of 44 degrees. So that's pretty much just over 10 degrees higher since this morning. And then couple that with the 30.4 degree air temperature. Incredible. Levente Ravesh making his way around the track. Also, as I said before, a busy single-seater driver in recent years. Of course, commenced his single-seater career in 2021. And here's another driver as well who has had a busy single-seater career in the Brazilian side of things, competing in Brazilian F4, as well as F4 UAE back in 2023. And looking to find his feet in the Euroformula Open Dallara 320 car, soon to be the 324. There's Brad Benavides. Of course, no one packs more experience than that man, of course, competing in Formula 2 and Formula 3 alike, but also formerly a member of this championship back in 2018 as well as 2021. So he's got rafts of experience here under the GT Sport organisation. He's brought it to the forefront by leading this championship. And I'll be hoping to close it out as well. But ideally, needs to ensure that he packs more points than this, because third place, as far as he's concerned, I'm sure, is not enough.
No, certainly not. And this is a really strong performance from Fernando Barrichello as well, who has been very much right on the back of these guys throughout the entire race, and getting punchy as well, because you know, we saw a couple of cracking moves and some good speed from young FIFO here. Look how high he sits in the car. And you just noticed, so high in the car.
Yeah, quite high indeed.
I know he's a tall lad, but yeah. Half expecting to be half the helmet being occluded by the car and by the halo in particular. But no, you can see all the way to Marseille with sitting up that high.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting, but then again, maybe it helps with the field of view when it comes to corner entry and corner exit. We'll have to wait and see. Gives him more visibility, you would have thought, but...
oh yeah, every time I'm on iRacing, I always tick it up a couple of notches, but like, we're comparing it to Levente Revesh there down the Mistral. You see the height difference, because there is a few inches difference between the two, but obviously for Levente, you know, he's still got good speed, isn't he, running in second place there. And Bergmeister here now only a lap and a half away from his first victory. Gap still maintaining around 1.6. Benavides 1.6 behind Revesh as well. So I think any little mistake from Revesh could cost him second place here with just over a lap to go. And I'm sure Benavides is still going to keep applying that pressure. It's still been an absolutely cracking drive from the Floridian, though, from the stall on the grid and fighting his way back up to the podium. It's strong stuff as Bergmeister out of the final corner to start the final lap of this race.
Yeah, every chance now that this could lead to a very first single-seater race victory for Jakob Bergmeister. One more lap to conclude what has been, I'm sure for him, a dream run here at Paul Ricard. Still got Levente Revesh after him, and the gap has reduced almightily for 1.4 seconds now between Bergmeister and Revesh. So you never know. Obviously, issues can occur on final laps. Obviously, I don't want to curse poor young Jakob, but at this stage, leads the way. And I'm sure this would mean a lot should he be able to close this out. Brad Benavides as well, 1.5. The gap's equal between Ps1 and Ps2 and Ps3 and P2 right now. Barrichello holding firm onto P4 with Simonazzi down in fifth. Just unfortunately, I think the tyre's just getting away from him, Chris.
Yeah, well, of course, Simonazzi didn't do any Friday running, so he's just learning out there with every lap, and we believe that because he used 2 sets of tyres in qualifying, he's pretty much the only driver who doesn't have 3 new sets of tyres for all these races, so probably he is running a mixed set on there, and will be just gaining experience for races 2 and 3, of course, finishing in 5th position. That will put him on the front row of the grid for race 2 tomorrow morning. Poor Enzo Richer, actually, just occurred to me that because he hasn't finished this race, he's going to miss out on reverse grid pole in 6th position. So he'll start 7th tomorrow, but he will. It will be Paolo Brajnik, as it stands, starting on reverse grid pole tomorrow morning, because the results taken from this race. But for Bergmeister, he's on his way through the last few corners now and on course for a maiden victory. What a moment for this kid. Absolutely magical for the German shifter car champion, who now comes up to Pond Corner. We have had 5 different race winners so far this season. Bergmeister is about to make it 6. It's a very first single-seater race victory for young Jakob Bergmeister. The German has done it. You cannot imagine, I'm sure, the feeling that he has got in that cockpit right now. To the young German, he has grafted, he has fought, but he's finally got it. An absolutely phenomenal effort from the young man, finishing ahead of Levente Revesh. Brad Benavides down in 3rd as well, managing to lay claim to a podium despite the difficult start that he had off the line.
with Fernando Barrichello in fourth. Francesco Simonazzi, who looked prominent at the start, it just got away with him through the course of the race, and then he finished in fifth across the line. Paolo Brajnik will finish sixth. Enzo Richer unable to finish, unfortunately retiring very early on in the race. But what a moment. What a tremendous moment for young Jakob Bergmeister.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It's been so amazing watching this young kid just develop his craft from so early on in his single-seater career, and the building of confidence and how that has translated to ability behind the wheel as well, because we talk about confidence as if it's like a little perk that drivers have. No, it is so important in delivering good results. And yeah, you can see now this is going to skyrocket Jakob Bergmeister now. I'm hugely looking forward to seeing what he can do in the second half of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take you through the results now after race one. Jakob Bergmeister, your victor for the very first time in the Euroformula Open Championship and in single-seat racing as a whole. Laventia Revesh in second, Brad Benavides in third, Fernando Barrichello in fourth, Francesco Simonazzi fifth, Paolo Brajnik in sixth, Enzo Richer out of the race. And here's what it's done to the Drivers' Championship. Now the 70 points gap becomes a matter for Francesco Simonazzi to deal with. Brad Benavides elongating that gap. He himself on 273 points. Jakob Bergmeister's first win, planting him on 183. Laventia Revesh fourth on 165. Michael Shin in fifth. So the cars now making their way around the final sector. They'll then rush into the pit lane parc fermé conditions. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like when Bergmeister hops out of the cockpit.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see this. I didn't see in the garage. I don't know if Tim's here. Tim, his dad, is here this weekend. I certainly hope he is. But we'll see. And they get into parc fermé. This is a huge day for the Bergmeister family. We were talking about it. It's in his blood. His whole family have been hugely successful, and this is the start of Jakob Bergmeister's story now, as he continues to wave the flag for the Bergmeister name. And how good a feeling is that, pulling up at the P1 boards.
It only takes one to change a career. It only takes one to change a season. And finally, that one has arrived for Jakob Bergmeister, race winner, our sixth race winner of this season in the championship. And the young German is going to be absolutely thrilled. It's taken a while for it to arrive. He's worked so hard for it. I mean, I've met him a number of times in the paddock through the course of the campaigns that he has been with us. Of course, remember last season when he joined the series, and he would sometimes have a glum look on his face. You know he wanted more. Well, finally, his patience has been rewarded.
Absolutely. Ever affable is young Jakob. Always up for a chat. As, the weigh-in process begins. First person to congratulate him was our championship leader, Brad Benavides. Fernando offering his congratulations there as well. I'm sure what could have been for Brad had he not stalled off the line. So we see Levente. I'm sure he'll be happy with second, but also thinking how he could have closed down that gap. Yeah, Alfredo offering his congratulations to Jakob as well. We'll be hearing from him shortly.
Yeah, let's take you through the top three. Brad Benavides, what could have been? Stalling at the start. He took P3 though, great fight back on his part. Laventia Revesh, he finished in second place. He worked to try and close the gap between he and Jakob Bergmeister, just could not quite pull it off. But at the front of the field, your race winner for the first time is Jakob Bergmeister, and he's with Alfredo Filipponi.
Maiden win in Euroformula for Jakob Bergmeister. I thought this morning it was your day. You missed the pole position by very little, but then the race was perfect.
Yeah, pole position was quite close to it. Sadly missed out, but in the end we managed to win the race, so I'm really happy. Thankful for the team, my sponsors, that I'm able to race here.
Good fight in the first couple of laps, but then you went.
Yeah, I was fighting quite good with Francesco. But in the end, I think I was a bit faster and they were fighting, so it paid off.
And the first one is always the most difficult, so many more to come.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so. We keep pushing.
All the best. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, the delight clear on his face. Let's see how he did it. Highlights from race 1 here at Paul Ricard. It was a poor start for Brad Benavides, the pole sitter, stalling it really at the very beginning, finally getting underway, but opened the door for Jakob Bergmeister to take up the running. Francesco Simonazzi would challenge him through turn 1, opting for that outside line, which proved unsuccessful. Levente Ravesh would form up in 3rd, with Barrichello in 4th. They would rush down through towards the Le Hotel chicane, where of course Simonazzi would try and challenge around the outside again. Just had a little look, could not quite find it, but still Bergmeister led. Once again, we saw a big fight ensuing for P2 this time. Ravesh, who was waiting in the wings in 3rd, finally opened the door through the Bousset around the outside against Simonazzi. And later on, Barrichello, who was defending vehemently against Brad Benavides, very nearly coming unstuck after riding the curves coming through the final sector. Then, of course, we saw the move finally be made by Brad Benavides coming through the pond. He executed a wonderful move down the inside and moved into 3rd, and would later challenge Simonazzi up the inside, coming through Bousset himself, the Floridian, moving up into that 3rd place and a step on to the podium. And then, of course, the final lap led to young Jakob Bergmeister taking his first ever win in the Euroformula Open and his first race win as a single-seater driver.
I only just noticed, watching the highlights back there, how Enzo Richet struggled to get off the line as well. Of course, that's his first start in one of these cars, and it's something to get used to. It's a proper carbon foot clutch on these cars. So hopefully he'll have dialed that in for race number 2. As we go to the podium, Brad Benavides takes his spot on the right-hand side.
Yeah, 3rd place, though I'd imagine he's feeling probably a bit furore at the moment. I mean, obviously, given the fact that the win was probably going to be there had he got away in the right manner, but, you know, 3rd, never ideal.
Unlucky podium number 13 for Brad Benavides.
Something in that, perhaps.
Yes. Oh, sorry, no, 12th podium. Oh, it didn't work.
See, you failed at the 13th.
I did, yes. 12th podium for Brad. I mean, we're saying this, still 12 podiums this season, isn't it? There's still only one race this year where he hasn't finished on the podium.
Yeah, but, you know, great effort for him to claw back what he did. What a moment for Jakob Bergmeister. Top step for the very first time. And you just see that big sigh he breathes out. No doubt meant a lot to him. And Levente Ravesh, who was working hard to close the gap through the course of the race, it actually ended up at just over a second, which is unbelievable, really, on his part.
Yeah, it was really piling on the pressure there towards the end of that race. So we'll have the Motorpark representative on the podium as well.
Yeah, also have been the main peripheral figures where it comes to the Euroformula Open Championship. Standing tall on the rookie podium will be Fernando Barrichello. After working hard, coming to blows against Benavides earlier on in the race, defending hard. And was very unlucky as well. Gold Cup winner, of course, Paolo Brajnik. They're just standing on the Gold Cup position of the podium. And the national anthem. So there we have it, the national anthem of Germany playing out for Jakob Bergmeister, recipient for the race win here in race 1 at Paul Ricard. Presentations being made by Pirelli, a representative supplying Brad Benavides with the 3rd place trophy. Magnificent effort to claw back what he did at a very late stage, still though a solemn sight on his part.
Yeah, he doesn't look very happy with himself, does he? But I don't know, it was still a really good fight back, and we know what he's capable of doing in the remaining races. Yeah, so obviously he's got 2 more opportunities to try and score this weekend.
Jesus Pereira,
giving the 2nd place trophy.
Yeah, CEO of GT Sport Organisation, presenting the 2nd place trophy to Levente Ravesh, and another one to add to his repertoire as well. Pirelli now also supplying the 1st place trophy to Jakob Bergmeister, who without question celebrates strongly and for good reason as well. And they've still got the winning team's trophy, as well as the Gold Cup trophy and the rookie trophy to be presented. Jesus Pereira presents the team trophy to the winning team representative from Motor Park, and Pirelli supplying the winning rookie trophy to Fernando Barrichello.
You see Jakob there, just keeps giving these huge sighs as if a
Finally done it.
Weight has just been lifted off his shoulders.
It feels like this has been a journey that he's been on for quite a long time. We have almost lived it with him, of course, seen him in the paddock. Gold Cup trophy being presented to Paolo Brajnik, but truly an immense achievement for Bergmeister. It's come a long way. He's been knocking on the door consistently. It's just taken that one little bit extra just to step over the line and finally get it, which he has done. Posing for the photograph now, and the champagne no less. But folks, what an incredible moment, one that Jakob Bergmeister will remember. But we go again for reverse races tomorrow. Be sure to join us when we go racing here at Paul Ricard tomorrow. We'll see you then.